to another DorkLair action figure review. Today I'm taking a look at the NECA Ultimate Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Zarak. This figure released as part of Wave 2 alongside Strongheart, a figure that I also reviewed and really like quite a bit, and this Zarak figure also does not let down. I think NECA is doing an excellent job taking these old, retro 80 beloved action figures and then bringing them up to date with sort of a more like gritty, realistic look, but maintaining that character, right? Like this guy is a half-orc assassin, so he's an evil character and somewhat sinister, but he's also got like a little goofy, mischievous kind of thing going on, and just a lot of character going on here. And this very much has me looking forward to future figures. I know they've revealed a few more already, so this line is going to continue as far as I can tell. Fantastic stuff. Now let's get into this review. Okay, zooming in, I've got him back to the sort of standard classic look, which is not my preferred look for this figure, but this piece is removable, so if you don't like it, you can just remove it the way I did in the opening. And the opening shot is kind of my preferred look. I didn't have these figures as a kid, so I don't really have this crazy nostalgic attachment to this wacky collar. So yeah, I like it without it, but here's how it looks with it. I still think it looks good, and it definitely captures that old school vibe. I love these head sculpts. They did a great job of bringing out that kind of crazy, sinister, evil assassin, but also kind of wacky and mischievous too. And I believe they have a slightly different expression on their faces in the smile. You definitely can kind of see something a little different going on in the smile there. But very similar. Some really nice flat paints. These don't look shiny and plasticky. These figures look like, you know, that kind of looks like cloth, and it's got a nice texture to it that takes the wash really well, and the wash gives it that really lived in kind of look. Same thing going throughout all the belts and the buckles and the leathery pieces, and you've got these knife sheaths and this pouch right here. Just a lot of cool little details throughout the figure. Yeah, and that same kind of wash on the gloves. And one thing that the other three figures kind of suffer from that this does not is the arms. They go down nicely into a relaxed position, really close to the sides. Like the other figures are kind of like stuck out like this. And so that's one nice thing about this one that makes it a little bit different from the others. Also has double jointed elbows, which is pretty cool. And then single jointed knees. So it's got like the opposite articulation structure than the Strongheart figure. And zooming out, here's a look at the overall silhouette of the figure. And again, like I said, his arms do come down into a much more natural resting position than the other figures of the wave. And to the top of the point of the hat, it's just about 6 inches. If you have the other hat on there, it's going to be a little shorter, maybe 5.5. Here's how he stacks up next to Wave 1 Grimsword and his wave mate Strongheart. And here he is next to Warduke and another NECA figure, the Mirage Michelangelo. Then here he is next to a couple shorter Mythic Legions figures. The dwarf on the left is a Kit Bash with a lot of different figures combined there. And then the one on the right is the standard Swig. And here it is with a couple 1.0 standard Mythic Legion builds. On the left is a Kit Bash using the Vorthog figure mixed up with Scaphoid. And on the right is the Unknown One. And here we have NECA Alf on the left, and on the right is the dwarf Gilius from the Storm Collectibles Golden Axe line. And then finally, here we have the Mezco 112 Collective Conan with some Kylab parts on the left. And on the right is the NECA Toys Master Wang. For accessories, he does come with this alternate head sculpt, and I pulled the collar off so you can see how it looks like that. I think this is my preferred look. And then he's got a pair of fists on there. Additionally, he comes with a pair of relaxed or maybe like loosely gripping hands, because I did use one of these hands to grip the potion in my video thumbnail. And then he's got a pair of dagger holding hands. So these are sort of a stylized grip, and a single standard gripping hand for the right side to hold the sword. He does come with a grappling hook, which you can actually take and you can like loop it onto this piece on his belt in the back like this. And then here's a look at his sword, which has a really neat shape to it. I'm sure that connects to the vintage toy. It's got a nice, shiny, metallic blade. I wish the handle, which is painted brown, I just wish that had a little more, maybe a wash or something to give it a little more grittiness to kind of match the rest of the figure. For me, that looks a little plasticky right there. And then he has two little daggers, and these daggers can actually go into these sheaths right on his belt strap right there. And finally, he has this one little potion, presumably poison. He is an assassin, but this could be a pretty cool piece to use with the Mythic Legion's Swig figure. And for articulation, the neck has a ball joint at the base of the neck and then a double ball at the top of the neck. So you get a pretty good range of motion up in that head. He can look down a bit and up a bit. So I guess the neck and head move a little bit better than Strongheart's. Now this whole suit here, this plastic overlay suit, is going to get in the way of a lot of the shoulder, hip, and torso articulation. But the arm can come up to about there, and that can swing all the way around. There is no bicep swivel. You do have those double elbows, so his arm can come up to just about here. So it's not great, like, you know, it's okay. You probably could have gotten away with single joints on that. And they do twist sort of above and below that elbow. You have a horizontal hinge at the wrist that also twists all the way around. And then, like I said, the torso is going to really be pretty limited by this coat. There's definitely, you know, there's definitely a joint in the torso, but it kind of limits the range. But you can twist it as well and kind of crunch forward and back a little bit. And the hips are on a ball joint. They can kick forward a little bit. Again, hindered by this piece. They can kick back a little bit. There is a twist at the top of the leg. You have a single jointed knee that really won't even hit 90 degrees. And there's no twist at the ankle, just a hinge and rocker. But overall, like, for this short little chunky guy, like, I think the articulation is fine. It's not amazing. I do think the articulation on Strongheart is better, but this guy can hit some poses and he's fun to mess around with. So I do quite like it. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you think of this figure in the comments below. And until next time, may the force be with you.